Bad Brad Berkwitt Show is all about moving humanity forward and fighting for democracy. And remember, folks, every act of kindness is a little love we leave behind. Hey, folks, the man with the pinky ring and the New York thing. Forget about it. Bad Brad Berkwitt. And welcome to the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. Forget about it. Well, breaking news. Before I introduce my guest today, our president, Joe Biden, has dropped out of the race because of turncoat Democrats who sold out for their donors, who put themselves before this country, for the rich people, donors that didn't want Biden to make them pay their fair share, and for the pundits in the mainstream media who make money off of Trump. You all can go right there. I'll never forget what any of you have done to President Joe Biden. I will not watch the mainstream media except for Lawrence O'Donnell. I will do everything in my power to get those Democrats that are turncoats primaried and lose their next election. But my guest today is as mad and is going to speak as openly as I just did. She's a lawyer. She's a Navy veteran. She's my shipmate. And she's an activist that pulls no effing punches. She's been on my show for 360. She's been on my show on a Moving Humanity Forward panel. So please welcome back to my show, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Pam Keith. All right, well, welcome back, Pam. Unfortunately, on a really fucked up day, all of this I had, that's out the window. We're not talking about that. We're going to talk about what's going on in reality. So let's do this. Whatever you got to say. The breaking news is that the turncoat Democrats, some of them, the mainstream media, the donors, I don't know who else I'm leaving out, help run the man that we, the people, voted in a Democratic primary for, President Joe Biden. They pushed him out. It appears, though we'll talk about the convention, which you know more about that stuff than I do. I'm as disgusted as you are. I've already done a video. I'm also disgusted with Zelensky too. I'd like to talk about that a little bit later.
I don't even know why Zelensky has anything to do with this. Why does Zelensky?
No. Not with him dropping out, with him disrespecting and calling Trump and congratulating him on winning the nomination when it's President Biden is a sitting president and he's the one that's funding Ukraine with other countries. I have a problem with that.
You must know something I don't know, so we can table that for now.
So okay. Your thoughts on what's going on in breaking news?
It's a disaster. It's a disaster. And it's a disaster brought on by money, people saying that we're not going to fund you if you don't do what we want. You know, it is a very simple proposition to agree on what you don't want. It is a very complicated proposition to agree on what you do want. And no matter how much the voters try to communicate to Joe that we wanted him to stay in the race, we don't have access to him. You know, the party elites do, and we don't. And so he couldn't hear us. So, you know, here we are. And the thing that I'm holding out hope for is that it turns into such a shit show that Joe Biden gets back in and says, look, if we can't reach agreement on Kamala, then I'm back in. Because I know my country. I know my country. And my country is racist as hell and it's sexist as hell. And right now, men are feeling some kind of way about women generally.
Yeah.
And a good 30 or 40% of white women are going to vote GOP no matter what. So we have put ourselves in a situation where to save democracy, the concept of American democracy, we have to rely on the conscience of a population that has not proved it was willing to accept Hillary as president, right? Kamala does not have the dynamism or mojo of a Barack Obama. And we did all of this based on polls. And I've been tweeting about this, and I've been telling people the polls are radically off. They were radically off. And the reason that they're radically off, more so now than ever before, is technology. Technology is a reason why polls are so off, because people like me and you, we have robo-killers on our phone. We have, our phones tell us who's calling. And so we don't answer the phone. We don't answer the phone for machines. We don't answer for the phone for people's numbers that we don't know, we don't recognize. So polls ascertain the opinion of people who answer the phone. And that is a much, much smaller percentage of Americans today than it was even 4 years ago or 8 years ago or 12 years ago. So the question is, what population of Americans actually answer polls? And those are people who are predominantly suburban, predominantly white, predominantly affluent, predominantly older, with time on their hands. So they don't represent the general population. And that's how Tom Suozzi won with like by 8 points. The poll in his case before, in his race before we finished, was 18 points off. The polls here only need to be 5-point offs to be wildly wrong.
Well, 2022, Pam, we had a red wave, right? What happened in
Here we
2022?
are. Exactly. Here we are spending all this time talking about how this is the election of our lives, the one that matters more than any other, the salvation of democracy. And we do an own goal like this. Because there was no, whether you liked Joe, whether you had questions about Joe, you weren't sure about his mental capacity, nobody hated Joe. But there's a visceral hatred for Kamala because she's Black and she's female.
Yes. Yeah, she's a female. Yep.
Right. So we handed over incumbency, the advantage of incumbency. We handed that over. Right. We handed over the known quantity, 2 known quantities going head to head instead of a known quantity versus an unknown quantity. We handed that over. Right. We handed over the experience advantage. We handed over all of the advantages that we had because of disquiet on a debate. And you got to know, it couldn't just have been that debate. It had to be some other things.
Absolutely. I said that from jump. It was more than a debate.
There was other things going on. So
Yeah.
maybe Joe's dementia is worse or his brain is worse than we can tell. But honestly, I don't think it mattered because all he had to do was stay the course, do a few rallies. And if he was deteriorating, take him off the campaign trail and have him do videos.
Yeah.
You could have hit him.
Yeah, but for example, when he did the one after the United Nations the last night,
he's done great. He
gave a master fucking class in foreign policy.
And the GOP is not wrong in pointing out that the Dems who say he should pull out of the race are not saying that he should be pulled out of the presidency, that he should step down from the presidency.
Well, in fairness, that piece of shit who of anybody to talk about running, Josh Hawley said he should step down, the one that ran on January 6th. But they'll start doing it, Pam.
Here's my thinking right now. If we want Kamala to be the next president, then Joe should step down now and make her the president and let her pick a VP and her run as an incumbent. If that's the plan, run her as an incumbent and take away the fight.
I see your point. And actually, I've seen people say that already. In fact, that guy, Alan, I can't think of his last name, the one that picked like 9 out of 10 polls. What's his last name, Deb? Lichman said that what you just said. He said that's what they should do. Let her be the sitting president with a couple months left and go into it as the president.
I'm going to tweet it now. I mean, I am beside myself with rage because I know what's coming. We know how bad Project 2025 is.
Yes, it is.
We know that when he says he wants to be dictator for a day, what he means is he wants to be dictator forever.
Yeah.
We know that the GOP plan is to take away our ability to vote for Congress and the Senate and the president and make it all state legislatures that they gerrymander to decide all of this. We know that our representative government is going to go the wayside because of this flub. And if we know this, then Jamie Raskin knows this. If we know this, then Adam Schiff knows this. Why the hell would they do this?
$64,000 question. This is a $64,000 question. Project 2025. Well, let's talk about this. I don't want to do what ifs, but I agree with everything you said on Vice President Harris about this country being racist, being black and being a female is a double whammy for her. Where do they go if the convention and Joe doesn't get back in, which I don't think that's going to happen, Pam, but I wish he didn't get out, but I'm not mad at him, not even remotely. They pushed him out. Where do they go with a ticket? Yeah, where do they go with a ticket? Where do they go with a ticket? I mean, if they run Harris off, because I'm not sold that they're going to run Harris. I think that I said this the other day.
That's just it. They don't want to run Harris, and that's the thing. So now you're going to have the massive infighting, because it's going to be Jamie Dimon, Mitt Romney. Oh, it should be Hillary Clinton. It should be Gretchen Whitmer. Now we've opened this Pandora's box. So if Joe is committed to Kamala, then he needs to step down now and make her the incumbent and run her as the incumbent. So that people at least get some optics of her being president of the United States and kind of get over her gender and her race. Yeah.
I see the point. I see the point. And I don't have anything to dispute it.
I am so incredibly, it's not just anger. It's just a profound fear and sadness, because everything that would have stopped Donald Trump from regaining power failed us, including our own party. The DOJ failed us, the courts failed us, the SCOTUS failed us. Everything that could have contained that SOB, even an assassination attempt, failed us. Like, there was literally nothing that prevented, like, every guardrail of our democracy failed. Every single one, including the Democratic Party itself.
Could you ever envision this? Because I couldn't.
No.
I couldn't envision this. I cannot. I know Johnson stepped down, and Humphrey became the nominee in '68 against Nixon, but I could never see this. And like I said, I called out Raskin, Schiff, all these guys. So you had your donors. If I understand, they had their donors in their ears. So you put your donors and money before our country, because I feel, honestly, they talk about voter suppression. I feel it's voter suppression from our party, because we voted in a primary for Joe Biden. We didn't ask for Joe Biden to be removed. They want to come out with these polls today. Oh, the African-American vote dropped down 21% for Joe Biden. Bullshit.
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 Total bullshit.
Bullshit.
We're doing this for total bullshit.
Exactly.
Right? So 76% of Democrats wanted Joe Biden to step down. Total bullshit.
Bullshit.
Total bullshit. And the thing is, if I can see it as bullshit and you can see it as bullshit, then why fuck can't Jamie Raskin see it as bullshit? Because, why can't the people inside the echo chamber of DC see the bullshit?
Look, Pam, when Pelosi, I have a problem with Pelosi, I have a problem with Schumer. When they were asked, did they stand with him? And he said, well, and Pelosi says, well, whatever Joe decides, that's not the answer. You either are with them or you're not with them.
It's the weakness of Democrats. And so that's what I have been railing against for years now on my social media. Everybody says I'm too strident, I'm too vociferous, and I'm too antagonistic and whatever. But the reality is, I'm trying to light a fire under a party that's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
We are the only party standing for regular people, for working people, for struggling people. We're the ones standing for the American population, whereas Trump and their crew are only standing for rich white dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, how can they be so vicious and so ruthless, and we can be so weak at the same time?
Yeah. You saw AOC's video. I said that earlier when she said, I'm in these rooms. I hear what they're saying. Look, just because they got
okay, they're going to try to sidestep Kamala. I guarantee it. And if he wants to protect Kamala, the way to do it is to step down now.
And make her president. Yeah.
And make her president.
Yeah.
I don't love Joe Biden more because he quit. I'm sorry. You guys can love him more because he quit. I don't. I appreciated Joe, but he needed to hold out. He needed to hold out just for a few more days and the noise would have died down.
No, I disagree with you on that. I don't think the noise would have died down, Pam.
They would have voted for him anyway, Brad.
No, I know I was voting for him. Look, look, I'd pull like you, Pam. No punches. If I saw anything that, oh my God, Joe needs to step down. Let Harris become the president. He's done. He's mentally incapable. This, that. I saw nothing. The debate wasn't the greatest.
It's just
but
all
it's
gaslighting.
ridiculous. Yes, but I never in my fucking 56 years on planet Earth would ever think that we would implode from the fucking inside from our own people
I
that
never
we
saw
supported.
that. Never saw it. Never saw that coming because I just thought, oh, because they're the ones who pushed Biden on us. See, that's the thing that's so crazy to me is that a year ago, I was the one saying Joe is so old. We need new blood. Let's go with Gavin Newsom. And people shouted me down on Twitter. And I said, hey, guys, we need young, fresh, virile energy to go up against Donald Trump and his minions. And people were like, Joe Biden's the greatest president. He's got such a list of accomplishments and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm being shut down. Okay, the primaries are happening. Nobody's challenging him. So this is it. Accepted. My will would not win out on that, but I'm a Democrat. I'm used to not getting my way, and that's okay. But where we are now is everything that is happening now could have been foreseen and was foreseen, mind you. And we were told, shut up.
Yeah, but to that talking point, though, Pam, and I agree with what you just said, because I said this to Deb privately and to some people publicly. If they want him to step down, because remember they were throwing at him, you said you were going to just be a transformational president that you work around. Do this 2 years ago. Do this 2 years ago when we could,
and then it would have made sense. But
and
now,
it would have made sense
before the election,
nobody
before the election,
exactly right. Nobody could tell me
some
that.
ballots going out in September.
Exactly.
Like, really, that's when you're going to do this?
Yes, that's my biggest freaking problem. You're going to do it right now, with less than 4 months left. But you think that's a good idea? Yet nobody's come up with a ticket. Nobody's come up with a plan forward other than Joe should.
No. Other than I endorse Kamala. He endorses Kamala.
No.
He doesn't have an explanation about what happens when she gets kneecapped by the same very people that kneecapped him. He doesn't have an explanation for what happens when the polls start to show that she can't beat Trump. And then they start to try to push her out for Jamie Dimon or Mitt Romney or whatever, or Dean Phillips or whatever names have been floated. Like, they have no plan here. And I'm a Black woman. Am I going to support Kamala E? Absolutely. Do I have faith in her? Absolutely. Does it bother me? Hey, that's not me, but I know my country.
And I do too.
And my country ain't there yet. I don't know that it'll ever be there. I know my country.
No, it won't be. No, Pam, it won't. This country, that's why that fucking slogan, make America great again, for who? For African Americans? For women of all colors. Really? You only got the fucking right to vote in what, 1920? I think the fucking year that, whatever it was in the 20s. It was never great. And it's never going to be great because there's always going to be racist, misogynist pigs in this country. And I'm going to tell you something like AOC said, and I mean this. We got racist and we got misogynistic fucking people in the Democratic Party who try to hide it because their misogyny will show when they do not want Harris on top of the ticket and they want to run her off. And a lot of these people thought, well, let's think about 2028. There'll be no 2028, in my opinion.
It's not going to be a 2028. That's what I'm saying. Doom and gloom. I'm not doom and gloom because I have some concerns about whether I'm going to vote. I'm not doom and gloom because I have concerns about whether you're going to vote. That's not the problem. I know white men in boardrooms. I know white men in courtrooms. I know white men in the gym. I know white men and I'm sorry, but I know these men. Some of them would have been willing to vote for Joe. None of them are going to be willing to vote for Kamala. And I'm just speaking what I experienced. These are the same guys who couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary. Couldn't bring themselves to vote for Hillary. Her emails, after all.
Yep.
So those guys are going to hold their nose and vote for Trump and hope for the best. But,
what's your vision for the DNC? A complete clusterfuck?
I don't know. I'm actually going to be there, and I have no idea.
Are you going to be in Chicago?
Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know, something niggling was telling me that I just needed to be there, that something inside of me told me I needed to be there. I don't know why, but I just was like, I need to be there. So I bought a ticket and I made the plan to go. But I'm stunned. I'm
Yeah,
stunned. And
I
he
want.
just a few hours ago, he put out a message like
I
he's still,
know.
and then
I
he
know.
just did a
I
180.
I
What
know.
happened in that hour? What happened in that? I'm left in complete shock.
I am too. I am too. I really thought he was going to stay the course.
I was starting to feel good about him staying the course, just
Yeah,
ignore the noise and keep moving.
yeah.
I was starting to feel good about it. And somebody got to him, and I'm just wondering who's the last person he talked to, because I want to crucify that guy or gal. I want to crucify them.
But
Do you think it was
I'm
Jill?
gonna
Do you
say
think it
this.
was Jill who said, Joe, you need to get out?
I'm gonna say this though. I don't know if we agree or we disagree on this. Unfortunately, this country is everything that you just said, and I agree with you 1,000%. But the Democrats, for what they did to him, they don't deserve him, and this country doesn't deserve him. Unfortunately, the people like us and a lot of others who vote and care about more than just ourselves, we get screwed in the big picture. We get screwed. But you know what? He's 81 years old. And granted, I wish they would have done this 2 years ago, but I'm at the point where I feel that the loyalty part, and like I said, we're not going to get in depth about it, but Zelensky calling him President Trump and congratulating him and all that.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've not seen that.
Oh no, this fact. Go to Zelensky's page. Zelensky called Trump and congratulated him on the Republican nomination, winning it. And he also talked about trying to have peace, and he also talked about
But that's just diplomacy. He has to deal with the reality
I disagree with you. Not for the nomination. If he wanted to, here's the thing: he already had the perfect phone call that got him impeached. He hates Zelensky. He's already said that Putin was a genius, and he would let him take basically Ukraine over. So I have a problem with that. But that's a separate issue. If the DNC doesn't get their shit together, then what?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we've basically taken our general off the field. So you tell me what happens. She needs to look like one hell of a presidential candidate and really fast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go down. But I do know that white people will be afraid of her. I do know that. I do know that we don't like immigrants. Immigration is the big issue. So she comes from an immigrant background.
Yep.
That's not great. I mean, I know the dude bros, young men, white men of all stripes are going to turn on her. I know black men that won't vote for her
I
because
was just going to say the misogyny part.
it's a disaster. It's just a disaster on every level. It's a fucking disaster. It's a fucking disaster. And the people who wanted this now got what they want, and even they are beginning to say, "Oh shit, what did we just do?
Yeah.
What did we just do?"
Yeah. It's just I'm speechless. I'm mad. I'm hurt. I do feel for Joe because I think that he didn't deserve this. I don't. I just backstabbing shit. He did what the mainstream media did in 16 and 20 for Trump. And let's talk about that. Mainstream media.
This narrative that
Mainstream
Joe couldn't be Trump is fucking nonsense.
Yeah, I agree.
It's fucking nonsense.
I think he absolutely could have beat him. What about the mainstream media? What do you got to say about that?
I don't have anything to say about them. See, the thing is, every time we see something go sideways, we saw it happening before and took no action. Right? We could have taken action against some of these mergers. We didn't have to let Elon Musk take over Twitter. We could have hold that up in white tape and red tape for years if we wanted to. Joe Biden didn't want to weaponize the SEC that way. He could have. He didn't want to. Right? Every guardrail that could have been put in place to stop some of this, the mainstream media, we watched one Trumper after another take over NBC, ABC, CBS, all of Wall Street Journal, Washington Post. We watched right-wing white men take over all of the shit. And then we're going to get surprised at the mainstream media when it counts, lines up behind Trump. Of course they were going to do that. Of course they were. We knew they were going to do that. We were so passive. We were so passive in the amount of times, that I warned about letting Fox News do whatever it wants. I warned about, I gave ideas and plans on how to block Fox News. Nobody wanted to listen to that, right? Because they were just like, oh, you're over exaggerating, or you're like, we can't do that, and it's institutional, and it's free speech, and it's that and the other. And so, we democrated ourselves right out of democracy.
It's unreal.
And Twitter's already blowing up with the problems with Kamala. Oh, she had a terrible campaign. We didn't choose her. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. You mentioned Project 2025. You see Trump now is trying to say he has no idea, which we know is bullshit. He doesn't know what it is, and that's far right. I'm not for it. And you know that the Heritage Foundation is behind him. Kevin Roberts.
No, I'm just broken by this. We were doing just fine. We were doing just fine, and I am fucking broken by this.
Yeah. I'm not giving up, but I'm extremely pissed off at the Democrats that turned their Jasmine Crockett stood up. Benny Thompson
stood up. Explanation as to why.
No.
Why were they?
No, because of a debate. It was not that debate. It was not that fucking debate. I'm so tired of that bullshit. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth that your donors got in your ears and said they weren't going to give you money if you back Joe Biden. We want Biden out. We want Biden out.
And I don't understand it. I think, honestly, the only thing that makes sense to me is that AIPAC did this. And because AIPAC is the only lobby with the kind of access and money to move Democrats that number. And they want Bibi Netanyahu to have free reign in Gaza. And Biden was blocking that. That is the only thing that makes sense to me, that this was AIPAC driven. And I'm speculating. I'm not saying I know this, but it's the only thing that makes sense, because it's the only lobby that owns that many Dems.
Unreal. It's a sad day. It's a sad day in history. And I think you put up a tweet about all the ones, I think it was you or somebody put it up, I'm pretty sure it was you, about you all think he's going to go down as a great president? Trump in 2020, Project 2025, we're going to write the history books.
Yeah, write the history books.
Yeah.
We're going to write history books.
Yeah, absolutely.
Become unlivable for most of us.
Yeah.
Under that reign of horror.
Yeah.
It's a reign of horror. And it's coming for Black women and Black men and Jews and LGBTQ and the disabled and the elderly and the union worker. If you're a wage earner, goodbye to your overtime wages. Like, you cannot get your head around the kind of shit that they want to push down on us. And we're going to let them do it because that middle person is going to trust that white person no matter what their plans are.
Let me ask you a question. Would you serve your country again?
Me?
Yeah.
In what?
In military, right now, the way it is.
I'm too old to serve.
I didn't ask you that. If you could, with the way the country is.
I would never serve under Donald Trump. That's for damn sure. Not ever.
It makes two of us. Because they don't care about veterans. You know, in Project 2025, they want to come after veterans too. But I actually think, and I mean this, I said it privately, saying it publicly for the first time, even the MAGA scumbag veterans, I think if they wind up taking their benefits Or they say you're at 60%, now you're going to get 20, you're going to get 5%, or you're going to get no percent, you're going to just get your retirement, you're going to get nothing. I think that's going to be the fucking tipping point, even for them maggot motherfuckers, that there's going to be a revolution in this country if they do that one. That I predict.
There shouldn't be a revolution. There should be a decent election. But you know
Exactly.
what? It's
I
not going to
agree.
be a decent election.
No.
If Barack Obama did this, like I said, it makes no sense. None of this makes any sense. Oh, he had a bad. I'm worried about his mental capacity. So fucking what? Ronald Reagan was demented when he got reelected.
Yeah. What about Obama? You're saying something about Obama.
Keep people saying that he's the one behind all of this, and I don't know that to be true.
Right.
I haven't seen him make any public statements.
No, other than he had a bad debate, like you said. I had a bad debate too. I haven't, all these people, you didn't hear them. Oprah, everybody else that had influence that spoke before, they're all silent. And then you got people like Clooney and Rob Reiner and these creeps opening their big mouths. It's easy for a rich white man who can leave this country tomorrow if it goes south. The average guy can't do that. I don't even know what else to say. What else do you want to put out? I don't even know what else to say.
I'm still processing the risk that we just put our democracy into. I just don't know. I don't know. Americans like certainty, and they like the known quantity. And Trump is a known quantity. He's a crazy known quantity, but he's a known quantity. If we had done this a year ago, I would be so excited for whatever ticket came out of a decent primary. But this is,
Yeah.
this
Say the same thing. I'll say the same thing. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely. Nobody can tell me this makes sense. Not the brightest person. There was nothing I saw that Joe needed to step down. We'll let him win the election, and then if he had to step down, Harris is the president. I'm cool with that. I'm good.
That was the path. That was an easy path.
I'm good.
But they didn't want that.
No.
So
No.
now we're supposed to want Kamala? Like the people who had a problem with his VP being a Black female are all of a sudden going to come around to supporting her being the nominee?
Yeah. Yeah. Pam, I got to ask you a rabbit hole question because I know you'll pull no punches. I said on the record I didn't think it was staged. I'm debating, honestly. I'm going back and forth now. You think that assassination attempt was staged by Trump?
I think it was orchestrated.
You think it was orchestrated?
That's not the same thing. Staged means that it was fake. I don't think it was fake.
No, I don't think he put ketchup on his ear and that type of stuff. I mean, or orchestrated is a better word. Do you think it was orchestrated, and why?
It was orchestrated because I think everybody knows the polls are bullshit, and I think everybody was afraid that Trump was stagnating. Right? He was stagnating. I think they figured that this was, somebody put that kid up to it. I don't believe for a hot second that he came up with that idea on his own. Somebody put him up to it. And I think he had instructions to do certain things, and he did those things. And I think he thought he was going to get glory out of it. But I think he was finally accepted into some kind of crew for a kid that's been a loner all his life. He got accepted online into some kind of online chat group, whatever, and they realized he's vulnerable and he's expendable. And he's not a person who talks to enough people that they would say, oh, no, that's not him, or that, they would report on what they were doing. So there's something shady. But from this perspective, Brad, I don't think the assassination attempt moved the needle at all. And the polls don't show that they moved the needle.
No, it didn't. It did on the first base.
To the extent that you believe polls. I don't think it had an effect on the election at all. So I just keep wondering, what was the exigency to push Joe out now? What was the debate is not enough. It just wasn't. And I've seen clips of the debate. He looked like he lacked energy and he was kind of a little spacey, but not completely off topic, demented, rambling, like none of those things. None of those things. He
And
was
all Trump
honest.
did was lie. And all Trump did
All
was
Trump
lie.
did was lie. And somehow you think, well, that was a god awful because you didn't slam him and you didn't slap him. Well, that's not Joe's style anyway.
Right.
On his best day, he doesn't do that. But yeah, I don't know what's happening with our world, honestly. I don't know. And um, we're going to rally around a Black female candidate. People are saying Buttigieg should be her VP. There's a great ticket. I mean, a Black female and a gay dude, that's going to work out.
No, won't happen. I think it's a great ticket. Absolutely. I agree.
Great ticket for me.
Yeah,
I would love that ticket.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that ticket too. I don't see it happening. That's two groups that are African Americans more than anybody, and Black women more than anybody else. But then the LGBTQ community, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't even think if they put them on there, they'd win Indiana. Indiana's so red. You know that's where we're at. It's just, it's unreal.
I just, and we did this to our Senate. I mean, you have no idea how bad this is going to be.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. You think they got a possibility now of losing the House and the Senate on top of everything else?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me too. Me too. And I don't want to hear gloom and doom. I don't want to hear that shit because it's reality. It's reality. This is the dumbest thing they could possibly do at this moment in time. Like you said, a year ago, sure, okay. You're going to do it then. 2.5 years ago would have been, 2 years would have been even better for me, but okay, that's fine. A year, there's nothing they can explain to me why they did this. Because I saw nothing publicly that would stop Joe from continuing to run. So, all right, Pam. Anything else you want to close out with?
Just stay tuned, pray, work hard for your local candidates. Don't give up on your local candidates. Don't give up on your state candidates. They gotta, do everything you can to win. But yeah, I'm still in shock. I'm crestfallen. I'm so angry and sad, and my instincts tell me this is not going to work out. And it never works out when you shake the apple cart like this. It never works out. When has it ever worked out? When have you ever seen a move like this in our politics this late in the process?
Look what happened with Johnson. When Johnson dropped out in '68, Humphrey became his VP became the presidential, the Democratic nominee. He got killed by Nixon. So, well, I can say this to you personally. You always use your platform to speak out. You're not shy. Whether people come at you or not, doesn't matter. Because you're not going to back down as far as that. Your opinions are your opinions. And the things that you were right on, which is mostly everything, doesn't change. I appreciate it. That's why I texted you last night. I never saw this coming. Folks, I texted him last night. I sent a text that said, your motherfucking
We were convinced that he was staying in because he said he was staying in.
Right. I said
everybody, and the campaign said he was staying in.
Right. Right.
Something happened between like 2 o'clock this afternoon and when that letter came out, and I want to know what the hell that was.
Yeah, I do too.
Because at 2 o'clock this afternoon, he was staying in.
Yeah, I know. There's going to be all type of reporting, speculation, clicks, and to monetize and everything else. I hope it comes out. I want to know. I want to know the truth. We the people need to know what happened. Because I still don't understand how they pushed him out. Why they pushed him.
I don't understand how they did it, but they did it. And so now it's all on them. And they're gonna come at us demanding that we be rah, whatever the fuck goes on.
Yeah.
Rah, stand behind our choices, not yours.
Yeah. Yeah. But in all honesty, they could put Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse on a ticket against Trump, and I'm still voting for it. Though I don't like that, but that's not what we the people wanted. I'm still, people are asking, well, what are you going to do? I'm going to vote blue. Of course I'm going to vote blue. But what you just said, These local, state, these other elections are very important too. Let's not forget them. Let me ask you this before we go. If worst case scenario, Trump wins, but we do keep that, we get the Senate, we keep the Senate if we can, and somehow we get the House back. I know that's a big if.
I think we can get the House back. That's the easier lift. It's the Senate that's harder.
Okay.
But all of it is in jeopardy if we don't get enthusiasm for the top of the ticket. And where's the enthusiasm? We don't even know what to be enthusiastic about. I'm still enthused about Donald Trump not being our president. And that really, quite frankly, you're right. I am, and millions of like me will vote for Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter, like whatever Democrat you put, but this is what they know. And so this is why they're going to try to put Romney in there. This is why they're going to try to put Jamie Dimon in there or somebody like that, because they know that it's compared to Trump. You
talking about Jamie Dimon, the Citibank, the bank?
Yeah, I've heard his name float. I've seen his name float around.
Oh my God, he was talking bad about Biden. I think he said he supported Trump. I can't remember 100%. That's ridiculous. That's just that's nonsense. All right, Pam.
We have to count on white women not being racist and white men not being sexist for the kind of majority we need to beat Trump decisively. And we need to beat him decisively.
Yeah.
And where is the evidence that we have, it's like, where's the proof that works? Like on what planet? We're not in that country. I don't know. We are not in that country. So I don't know, Brad. Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay off of Twitter because I'll be honest with you, MAGA is over here cheering up and down.
I know. I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to see it because of course they are, and Trump's going to come out talking crap. And so, I mean, you saw the video that leaked about him with his son. Cares so much his son Barron was in the golf cart. He said she's fucking terrible, and then laughing Kamala is basically him dropping the N-word. That's what he wants to say. And let's see if he really finally does drop it publicly, because they got him privately on tape saying it, as they claim.
What does it matter? His base doesn't care.
Oh, they don't care. They'll be like, yeah. They'll have shirts that say it.
These are rumors. Like, I mean, no, let me rephrase. Every rumor we've heard about Donald Trump, we've heard for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't know who he is. And it's not like he needs to hide who he is, because he's been loud and proud and unabashedly who he is all this time.
Yeah.
And everybody who knows that about him and still supports him is not going to be moved off of him by anything else they find out about him.
Yeah.
You know, les jeux sont faits. I mean, you know, it's like the people who don't think his felony convictions are a deal breaker didn't think insurrection was a deal breaker, didn't think stealing classified documents was a deal breaker, didn't think sexual assault was a deal. So there is nothing that's a deal breaker for them. His team is set. His team is set. His vote is set. It ain't going anywhere. Our team is chaos. And we're the ones who have to bring the reluctant voters to the table to win. We're the ones who have to bring the non-traditional voter to the table. And that's a whole lot harder to do when they don't know the person that they're going to be coming to the table for or what they're going to be coming to the table for. And there's all this infighting, and we don't know where the money's actually going to go and whether the money's going to show up for her. Like, we don't know any of that. Like, so what do we tell the person who doesn't know anything about anybody in politics that they should show up to vote against Trump? Like, how do we even make that case when we don't know who they're voting for?
Yeah. Yeah. All valid points.
So I don't know. Right now, I'm not feeling particularly optimistic. I'm hoping that after the Olympics, maybe there'll be something more to feel optimistic about. But right now, it's looking pretty grim for our side, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. God knows I'm willing to work to turn out the vote, whatever. But I mean, you know, come on, man. My prayer is that Joe changes his mind and decides that this is the wrong move. That is my prayer.
I think it is a prayer, but I don't see it happening, Pam. I really don't. I wish he would. I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening either.
Because then you know what it'll be? Oh, he had dementia when he said that. Now he got his sense back. And I think it'd be
He's
worse.
going to say, I stepped aside because I thought that was best, but by the chaos that I am seeing here,
I hear you.
I
I don't
now
see it. Yeah.
conclude that it was not best.
Yeah. Well, I hear you. I don't see it happening, but I mean, I stood by Joe from the jump. That debate did not change my mind one single fucking bit. Because if it did, I
And it
would have
didn't
said
change
it.
anybody's mind. The only persons it scared off was money.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. All right, Pam, let me put this show together and get it out because I want people to hear what you have to say because they need to hear what you had to say. And
I'm the rah-rah cheerleader girl most of the time, but not
I
this
know,
time.
I know. Yeah, but you know what? You're the rah-rah cheer girl, but you're the reality check too. You've been calling about Merrick Garland for a long time when he got people that made a cottage industry saying, "Oh, Merrick Garland's great. He's wonderful." No, he's fucking not. No, he's not. He's not. So your reality, whether they want to hear it or not, whether they like what I have to say or not, you know, oh, you're gonna vote. Of course I'm gonna vote blue. But I'm mad. I'm expressing how I feel. I'm mad. I'm mad at the Democrats for running them off. I'm mad at Raskin. I'm mad at Schiff and the rest of them. These turncoats. Even Manchin came out, which I could care less about Manchin. He's a turncoat. Anyways, talking about it breaks his heart. No, it doesn't. It doesn't break your heart. So, all right, Pam, I'm gonna let you go. Stay in touch.
Okay.
Stay in touch and
Pray for our country, pray for democracy, pray for the world. Because the thing is, putting Trump back in the White House is not going to be disastrous for us. It's going to be disastrous for the whole
the world. For the world. For the world.
Yeah.
I've been saying that. For the world. And yeah. So, all right, friend. Stay in touch.
All right, take care.
All right, take care. Hey, folks, this is Bad Brad Berkwitt, the host of the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show on the Ringside Report web TV channel. And I want to talk to you about sponsorship. If you're interested in being a sponsor on the Bad Brad Berkwitt Show that features network guests and entertainers and people from all walks of life in business and other areas, reach out to me at ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. Again, that's ringsidereport2014@gmail.com. I'm finally in a position that I'm ready to take on sponsors. So, hey, reach out to me and let's get you on board. I want to talk to you about my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime. If you watch my show, The Bad Brad Berkwitt Show, you know that I love doing 360 conversations with all types of people. Well, I made my bones in boxing over a quarter of a century ago, interviewing world champion boxers, people in the sport, and entertainers that love the sport of boxing, which led to my induction into the Florida Boxing Hall of Fame in June of 2021. And that's the ring that you see me wear all the time on my show. Well, if you like to pick up my book, Boxing Interviews of a Lifetime, go to authorhouse.com. Again, it's authorhouse.com. And if you would like to get it personally inscribed or inscribed for somebody that you're sending to as a gift, you can reach out to me and we can arrange for something as well.